Hi there and welcome back. It's Lisa from Critters'n Ink Designs in Ontario, Canada. And today I decided it's been a while since I've done any stamping. So a couple of things before we get started. We do have a couple of promotions on right now. Let me switch to my desk view. So we currently have a designer series paper sale. So all of these designer series papers are on for 15% off until the end of the month. So something that is normally $17 would be $14.45, which is most of them. That's usually the price is $17 for the DSP. And then there's one larger package that is $41. It's actually on for $34.84, 85 cents. So that's good from June the 1st till June 30th if you need some designer series paper. And that's basically, it's all of the new ones except for the in colors and the new collections for the core color group. So all of these are 15% off. And also for the month of June, between the 1st and the 30th, there is a starter kit promotion. You can purchase $206 worth of product for $135 Canadian. When you sign up to be part of my team or any team. I would like you to be on my team. And the products are your choice. It's not a preset starter kit. You choose what you would like. And joining up as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up doesn't mean that you have to do videos or hold classes. You can just be a happy discount shopper and get your 20% discount on anything that you purchase after your starter kit. So there's no obligation to do anything, even remotely business-like. So you can just be, I would say the majority of my team are all just discount shoppers. And they like it that way. They get their 20% discount on anything that they purchase. And I enjoy having them as part of my team. And every month we have a team Zoom meeting and share some stats and create some cards, and it's great. And I'm always there to answer any problems or questions that you have as part of my team. Anyway, today I decided it's been a hot minute since I've done a video. I actually went back to work for a few months to help a friend of mine who was recovering from surgery. And I'll tell you, after not being in the workforce and then going back into work as an esthetician, I was exhausted. So I'm surprised I even made a birthday card, to be honest with you. I was pooped. But I'm back. I had a week with my grandkids, which was also exhausting, but lovely. I had a great time. And so now I'm back. I'm ready to sink my teeth back into my Stampin' Up because I've really missed it. So I decided just to get motivated and to get re-inspired, I decided to case a catalog. So I'm just going to switch down to my desk and show you the catalog here. There we are. So if you don't have a catalog and you live in Canada and you'd like to have one, let me know. I'd be more than happy to pop it in the mail, or if you live local to me, I'm in the Quinte area. If you would like me to drop one off or you could pick one up at my house, I have them here. So I'd be more than happy to get one in your hands. And so the bundle that I decided to case this week is inked and tiled, and that's on page, I think, 94. Let me just quickly, page 94. So I was looking in for inspiration. Now, the catalog is a huge source of inspiration. Like if you look at any of the stamp sets, there's always samples throughout the catalog just to get you started. And if you see a sample that really excites you or inspires you, you can go ahead and order the product, or if you have something similar, use what you have and get creative. So anyway, I wasn't too sure about the inked botanicals. It wasn't really calling my name, but I was intrigued by the punches. And it comes with 2 punches, the bundle. And actually, there's a whole suite collection for this. And so there's the 2 punches, a stamp set, which is this stamp set, which we're going to use today, as well as some paper and some ribbon. Now this is the ribbon. It is so pretty. It's Lost Lagoon, which is a returning color in our core colors. So it was I believe it was an in color a few years ago, and now it's returned as one of our new core colors. And so we're going to use this in a couple of the samples. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do 2 cards today, and then in the next few days I'll do another video with a couple of more of the cards that are in the catalog. And there's also a package of 6x6 designer series paper, which is absolutely beautiful. So all of our designer series paper, with the exception of a couple of specialty papers, which are like a glitter or stuff, all of our designer series paper are double-sided, and they're absolutely beautiful. So today I thought we'd start with this little note card and this tranquil, oh, there's that tranquil tide again, Lost Lagoon card. So we'll do these 2 today. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got my little note card here. So you can purchase the note cards as a set of, I forget how many are in the note cards. Let's have a quick look. But I always have them on hand because you never know when you're going to need just a little note card. So the note cards and envelopes, you get 20 cards and 20 envelopes if you look on page 135. Oh, hello. And they come in basic white or very vanilla. And it's $11 for 20 cards and 20 envelopes. And now I have a cat on my desk. Okay, Georgie, you're going to have to go. Where you go? Come on, scoot. So say hi. There's Georgie. Bye, Georgie. Where you go? Okay, so I've got my note card. And they're very lightly scored, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see that score line. And these note cards are, where's my ruler? they finish at 5 by 3.5. So this is 7 by 5 in the package. And as I say, I keep them on hand all the time because you always need a note card for something. And they're pretty quick to do. You could do a whole pile of these to have ready as your thank you cards, you know, or a little quick birthday card to throw a gift card in or something. And then I also have a piece of Pool Party, which is, where are my notes? Hi, Georgie. So my Pool Party is 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. And I've pre-punched a whole bunch of the designer series paper using both of these punches. Now, if you're new to punches and you've never purchased a punch and you're not sure how they work, if you flip it over, there's a little locking mechanism right here, and that opens up your punch. So you can store them closed like this, and makes them much more stable. And I actually stack mine on top of each other like this for storage. And I don't know if you can see behind me. Yeah, can you get her out of here? Go. Thank you. You can see behind me that I have my punches all on a shelf. So to unlock it, you just push this little button upwards, and then this works just like a punch. So let me grab a piece of designer series paper. And I have a scrap here. So you just slide your paper into, there's like a groove there, and you just slide it in and press. And there's your punch. Really, really easy. And because this is double-sided paper, you have, so right away I have contrast. I'm just going to turn my computer here a little bit. My camera's off center. Okay, so that's how the punches work. So I just went ahead and I punched a whole bunch of them just to get ready. So this is the card that we're going to be making. I did make one earlier. And to prepare my background for this, I'm going to be using my inked and tile stamp set. Now these are red rubber, so I don't need to have a spongy base on my table, but this is a spongy base. This is a neoprene table, like a desk mat that I purchased on Amazon a few years ago, and it works great even with my photopolymer stamps. But with the red rubber, it's not really that necessary to use the rubber underneath, because it's got the rubber built right in. Oh, there you are. It's got the rubber built right in, so it's got the give that you need to get a decent stamp. Cat fluff. Okay, so I'm going to take my Pool Party ink, and I'm just going to stamp tone on tone onto my Pool Party ink. Let me just grab a piece of paper because I don't want to get any more ink on here than I already have. So I just have a piece of scrap paper here. And I'm just going to stamp a few of these lines across my paper. Now, I always test my stamps. You don't need to, but I feel better when I do that, because I know that if I have a problem area on my stamp, I can actually give it a clean, lift it off the block, and replace it, but it's fine. So let me just ink it up. And I'm just going to stamp randomly on here a couple of times. And that's it. Pretty easy. I'm going to give that a quick clean, because if I don't, for sure, I'm going to end up with ink on something. And this is the chamois, the Stampin' Chamois. And it's, I keep mine just in one of these little cases that you can buy in my online store. And it stays wet. It never gets stinky. And I just wash it out every so often. And it works really, really well. All right, so I'm going to actually mimic what I have here. So I have one of these and one of these. But you know what? You can use whatever you want. I have a yellow one there. And do I have what I want? Yeah. This one will do. I'll use this one over here. And then I want one of these over here, and one of these over here. Perfect. Okay, so these three I want on dimensionals, and these three I'm just going to glue just right on my hard base. So just put a little bit of glue. Now, this is one of my preferred glues, the multi-purpose mono liquid glue that we sell at Stampin' Up. And I find you don't need very much. And I like a liquid glue because it gives you wiggle room. If you feel that you want to rearrange where your pieces are, you have a few seconds to go ahead and do that. I'll just put a blob here and there. And then I'm just going to do the same with this one. I'm going to pop that one over here. That's not particularly centered, but I can live with it. And then these three, I'm going to put on dimensionals. So let me grab my dimensionals. My desk is such a mess, good grief. All right, so I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals on each one. I'm never stingy with my dimensionals because when you pop them in the mail, excuse me, you don't want them to be saggy. All right, so I'm going to put this one here. on dimensionals. And this one's going to go up in the middle. These cards are so quick and easy. That's one of the reasons I love punches, is because they just go together so quickly. And then we have this one down in the corner. These little cards are so fast to make. So if you needed to make a bunch of thank you cards for a shower or something, this is ideal because you can whip them together in no time flat. Okay, so that one's on dimensionals as well. And then now I can go ahead and just put this directly onto my card base. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to center that. And because I used 4 and, what was it? 4 7/8 by 3 3/8, I just have a 1/8 of an inch, or like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our little banner. And to do that, I'm just going to take a piece of scrap Calypso Coral, and I'm going to be using my Versamark and the white embossing powder. Now this little tray comes as a kit in the annual catalog, and if you are fairly new to embossing, heat embossing, this is a great little investment. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use my embossing buddy just in the corner here. And what this does is it eliminates any static that you might have that the embossing powder might stick to when you're trying to stick the embossing powder to your paper. So I've got, what am I looking for? Just a Note. So I'm going to take my Just a Note and I'm going to just stick it right onto my block. And then I'm going to take my Versamark ink. And Versamark is a clear ink and it's very slow drying. So it's great for a lot of things. And one of the things it's great for is embossing. So now I'm going to put this fairly close to the bottom in the corner. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be using my punch to get it out, to punch it out. So I've got my Versamark there, and I'm going to just take some of the white embossing powder and put it in the tray. Now I did get a little bit of a halo there, and that was just my stamping. A little. Okay, so now I'm going to dump that back into my tray, and I'm going to cover it up because I don't want the heat to get to my embossing powder, because it will melt it, and we don't want that, or it'll blow it all over the place. So let's cover it up, and I'm going to grab my heat tool, and I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this. So you can see right now it's a flat white, and it'll start to melt here in a second. There, you can see it changing color. I love this. Never gets old. There we go. And I'm going to take my cross punch, and I'm just going to line it up, my lettering, into my punch. And I'm just going to make sure that it's pretty straight. And I want it centered, obviously. So I can go ahead and punch that out. And then now I can take my snips and just give that a little trim. And there's our banner. And then I also need my white baker's twine, which I just had. Here it is. And I need to make a little bow. So I'm just going to make a little bow with my twine. There we go. And my dimensionals. Now you could use the mini dimensionals on this if you wanted to, but it's just wide enough for the regular dimensionals, so that's fine with me. And then I also need my mini glue dots, which I don't know where they are. Oops, almost put that on upside down. So this is going to sit right here, and actually, you know what? I don't need a dimensional on this side, so I'm just gonna pop that off. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the corner there. So that's going to sit here. And then I don't know where the heck my glue dots disappeared to. Okay, got my glue dots, complete with a cat hair stuck in it. And my take your pick tool. I'm just going to grab a little good glue dot and I'm going to fold it over in half and then pop it right here. And I'm going to stick my little bow onto that. And there's our card. If you wanted to, you could put a little bit of like some rhinestones or something on that. What have I got over here? I've got some little iridescent pearls. Why don't we put a couple of those on there? I'm all about the bling. I love the bling. I didn't put any on this one, but you could certainly add a couple. Nothing wrong with that. So let me take my take your pick tool. I'm just going to grab a couple of these little pearls. There, that really finishes that off. And these are the iridescent pearls, basic jewels. Really, really cute. So I might as well put some on here while we're at it. Oh, there's small, medium, and large. So I'll grab another little one. Put another little one over here too. Very, very cute. And then on the inside of the original one, I actually stamped one of the little florals in the pool party. So let me just grab that little floral. And my pool party. And I'm going to stamp it once, and then I'm going to stamp it off, okay? So you get like a two-tone, so you stamp it and then stamp it off. So that's what I'm going to do in my card. Stamp it once, stamp it off. And I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope, because you should not have a naked envelope. So stamp it once and stamp it off, just to get that little shadow effect. Isn't that pretty? So that's our first card. And close this so I don't spread ink all over. And let's get these two stamps cleaned up. All right, so that's our first card. Now our second card that we're going to do is this one. Oof, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess. All right. So this is the next one that we're going to do. It's very, very basic, but it's so, so cute. So I've got my card base is in Pretty Peacock, which is also a returning color. This was an in color a couple of years ago. I think maybe the first year that I was a demonstrator, or maybe not that long ago. I've been a demonstrator for 5 years, and it was one of the earlier in colors when I started Stampin' Up. So I also have a piece of the designer series paper that is, let me just see my notes here and see what the dimensions are. So these, both of these are 3 3/4 by 5. And then for the inside, I have a piece of Very Vanilla that is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I also have a piece of scrap vanilla that I'm going to create the sentiment for. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to stamp the front of our card. So to do that, I need this stamp. And I'm going to do that one in the Lost Lagoon. And I don't know, I can't remember if I stamped it off or if I just stamped it. I think I just stamped it. I think I'll stamp it off. So stamp it off and then stamp it. And then the next one I did was this floral. And I did that one in the crushed curry. So let's close up the Lost Lagoon. Crushed curry. Crushed curry is one of my favorite ones. It's been around for a really long time. So, excuse me, my allergies are driving me bonkers. So I'm going to pop this one up here. Oh, that's pretty. And then the little one that I had out earlier, I'm going to do in Bubble Bath. So here's the Bubble Bath. And I'm just going to pop that here, I think. And then also, I used some of this little one in the Bubble Bath, and I just randomly put them around. You'll notice when I'm inking up my stamps that I don't push really hard into the ink, because all I want is ink on the raised part. I don't want ink around the rest of the stamp, because if I push it in and then I ink it, you can see, I don't know if you can see, let me zoom in. You can see how I have the lines around it, and that's something that you don't want, because that will, it just doesn't make for a nice clean stamp. So let me give this a clean. And then I'll just tap it lightly, and then just straight up, straight down, and that's how you get a really nice stamp. So let's put a couple of more of these. Okay, and then now I'm going to take my Very Vanilla and my thank you stamp. And I'm going to grab the Lost Lagoon again. Oh, should have taken an allergy pill. And a little block. And I'm just going to, what did I do with my scrap? Here we are. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my thank you. I wonder if I made that big enough. Yeah, I think I did. And I'm just going to quickly clean my stamps here. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And we don't want that. Oop. Now this is stained, but when you wash it, it'll look stained still. But when the water runs clear, I just rinse mine under the bathroom sink or in the kitchen. Depends whether I'm upstairs or downstairs. If I'm downstairs, it's in the powder room down here. And if I'm in the main level, then I just do the kitchen sink. And so when the water runs clear, you know it's clean. It'll stay stained, but it still works really well. I've had this one for a few years now, and it's dirty, but works great. It's not dirty, it's stained. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take my star punch and I'm going to just take my top layer here, and I've got it pushed in all the way, and I've got it over to the side maybe by, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to punch out. Now I can use this later if I choose to use this side. This side has ink on it, so I probably wouldn't use that side. But don't throw this out because you can use this side for sure. And then what I want to do now is make sure that when I have this behind my card, it's going to be big enough to show the thank you, but obviously small enough that it's not going to hamper anything. So I'm going to give this a trim, and probably hopefully this big will do it. Yep, perfect. So what I can do now is just put some dimensionals behind, and what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to cut from the skeleton part of my dimensional sheet, because you don't waste any of this. And I'm just going to put this right at the top here, and also right at the bottom. I should turn that around. I'm going to do it this way. There, and I'm just going to put this over in the corner here so it doesn't show. And I'm going to lay my card over this so that that's centered. Okay, that didn't work. I don't want my dimensionals to show, so there, that should be better. Okay, so that is, okay, here we go. All right. And this needs another little piece of dimensional in the corner. Right here. There, Beautiful. Okay, now I did cut this a little smaller. I think if I was going to do it again, I probably would make sure that it's a little bit larger, but it works, it's fine. So next thing I need to do is I'm going to take my card base, wherever that might be, over here. And I'm going to place my designer series paper on a slight angle like this. Now, if you're very frugal, like I normally am, you could actually take your punch, and maybe I'll just do that just to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch out some of these. I'll take my other punch and do a couple of those. Because why waste the paper, right? Designer series paper can be expensive if you buy a lot of it like I do. And that reminds me, this whole month, all of the new designer series paper is on 15% off. And there's also a new, just a reminder that there's a new startup special that I mentioned at the beginning. So, you know, keep that in mind. So now I haven't wasted all of this paper on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And again, this is my preferred glue, but you can use, you know, whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on an angle like this. And then this one is going to go on an angle this way, but I'm going to put it on dimensionals. So let's grab our dimensionals, and I'm just going to pop them around. And I'm never cheap with my dimensionals because nothing worse than a saggy card. They're not expensive. You can go crazy with them if you like. And you know, they're, as I say, they're not expensive. There we go. So I'm going to put this one on an angle this way. And there we are. Isn't that adorable? So, so cute. Ma. Okay, and then now I'm going to use these little brass butterflies. And these butterflies are available in the annual catalog. And they're one of my favorite embellishments, I think. I just love them. So they come in two sizes. So you've got the large and the small. So I'm going to put a large one over here. And a couple of small ones over here. I just love these. Love them, love them. And there we are. So that's the outside of our card. Again, you could put some twine or some ribbon if you wanted to. I think it's perfect just the way it is. So let's get that over there. And then on the inside of my card, what did I put on this one? Oh, I just did the little flower. But let's do something different this time. Why don't we use this leaf, and we'll do it in the Lost Lagoon. Little cat hair on there. I think there's probably not a surface in my house that doesn't have cat hair on it somewhere. And I have two black cats, so you can imagine. I was buying capris one time and I thought, oh, I'd love a pair of white capris. And then I thought, are you kidding? You have two black cats. And they sit on everything. Okay, so I'm going to do it full strength once, and then a second time stamped off. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the envelope. Oh, I need a very vanilla envelope. Oh, did I bring one up? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Okay, let me grab one. Oh, where are they? Here they are. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on my envelope. So full strength, and then just lift it and shift it and do a second layer. Okay, so that is our envelope. And then we can go ahead, wrong card, where's my card? We can go ahead and pop this into the center of our card. Oh my, honestly, cannot believe the mess on my desk. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue that down. And center that right in there. And there we go. So there's our second card. So now we've made a thank you card and just a little note, and there we have it. So we did our note card and we did our thank you cards. And I will list all of the products that I used today in the description below, and if there's anything that you think you would like or need some help placing an order with me, I would be more than happy to help. And again, if you need a catalog, if you don't have a catalog, give me a quick email at crittersandink@gmail.com and I'll be more than happy to get one to you. And so in the next day or two, I'll be doing a second video with some more of those lovely cards that we saw in the catalog. And just now I'd like to thank you so much for joining me. Oh, and if you do place an order with me, I'd really appreciate it if you would use my host code for June. It's also on my blog at crittersandink.com. And then your name will go into a draw for a gift at the end of the month. And any orders over $60 will receive the kit to make one of these cards, as well as a thank you card from me. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy your day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.